Hey guys, it's Maxie here. Welcome to your weekly edition of the AEW Save on TEW2020. You join us for their first ever attempt at doing an AEW Battle of the Belts. Every title is on the line apart from the Lucha Underground Championship, because no one has defended the Gift of the Gods Championship 3 times, but that is on the line of course because that was vacated. So we're entering the unknown here. There's a little bit of trying something different in the main event where we will crown our first ever, at the moment, Lucha Underground Trios Champions. I just need to rename the belt to the AEW Lucha Underground Championships. We'll go with that, Trios Championships. But overall, looking forward to it. We had a rundown of the card mostly last week. Few changes. I say one we were sure was we were going to go Toni Storm versus Thunder Rosa, but because they have poor chemistry, it will be Conti that will get the opportunity for the TBS Championship. But that matchup does actually help in where we'd like to take some character development. So without further ado, we'll crack on. Not really expecting too much from it, just hoping to proceed storylines. And before I forget, the only things we're really competitive in the Wrestler of the Year etc. awards so far. So I think it was Robbie Eagles was Wrestler of the Year so far. Tag team it was Kota Ibushi and Tanahashi. Demi Bennett was winning Female Wrestler of the Year so far. We were winning Best Company. Guevara versus Omega, the 98 rated matchup, was Match of the Year so far. And Double or Nothing was Show of the Year. So we do have a lot in that, which is really, really positive. But yeah, we're here for Battle of the Belts. Let's run the show. So because of the continual industry decline, we are down to a crowd of 47,362. Or maybe they're just thinking if possibly not put enough big names on here. In terms of actually wrestling, they're more taking place in angles, but that's fine. As I say, we are in a position where it's a massive industry decline anyway, and I kind of want to build more people up to the higher level instead of the same faces on every show. So I started off here, basically Bryan Danielson promoting what could be a very successful night for the Danielson Dojo. He says obviously that all faith is in Claudio and Daniel Garcia in winning the AEW Tag Team Championships, and everything is on for Walter winning the Lucha Underground Gift of the Gods Championship in the Fatal 4-Way. So he just says he's looking to recruit, he's looking to take over, and he knows one man he'd love involved in the Danielson Fight Dojo, and that is of course Jon Moxley. He says he brings a great amount of brawling, not quite the technical finesse, he is good but not quite great, but a fantastic brawler, and he just feels he could toughen up some of the rookies. Mox at the moment, of course, is a heel, but he says, you know, I'm not really feeling it, my man. Just says, I've always been a lone wolf, and, you know, if you decide to keep mentioning my name, you know, if you keep interfering in my business, I might just have to take out the Danielson Fight Dojo one by one. So a 99 segment here as we hint toward Danielson and Moxley getting involved with something. But it gives us that cheap opening good segment. We start the show with a bang, or if you're Adam Cole, a boom, as we decided to give him a title match up against Pac. I thought, let's give Pac an opportunity. It's a world title match on Battle of the Belts with little build, just really, as I say, opportunity arised. These two fought, I think it was like a year ago, the last matchup when I checked it on Rampage. It was like a low 70, so the fact that they've come out all guns blazing in 87 is great here. But they had superb wrestling, great heat. Cole defeats Pac in 14:23 with a flying crossbody. 4th defence of the championship belt. Just a regular matchup under the 15 minutes because of a lack of psychology. But pleasantly surprised they pulled this one out of the bag, but more things on the horizon for Adam Cole. We did have an interested spectator on the match, and that was Darby Allin. Now the angle we've got here basically does say do colour commentary. It's Darby, he's standing in the rafters, 73 for that, so he's looking as Adam Cole. Is it Pac he could be fighting in the future? We'll find out. We then moved on to the TBS Championship match. It was a decent matchup that saw Thunder Rosa defeat Conti in 12:08 with La Rosa. Thunder Rosa makes defence number 2 of the TBS Championship. A 72 here. She carries the matchup. She is getting a little bit stale, but we'll look to work on that with her. And for Conti, we can see here she has a bit of a temper tantrum post match. So a 54, I think I'm going to split up TJ. I think the opportunity here now is to go with Tay as a heel. I actually seem to be lacking quite a lot of heels on, I think it's Rampage. Like, I think I have like Mercedes and that's maybe it, that are fully over, because obviously Jade and Charlotte have their own little thing at the moment, so I just feel I need a bit more depth on that side. So I think Tay Conti may be one to venture over there. We had a decent matchup here for the IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship, and it was a good matchup. Gable standing up to take on Andrade El Idolo, and it was the Mexican who picks up the win in 1742 with a Brilliante driver. For defence of the title in 81, guys putting on clinic after clinic, and I just like having them in these matches to have great matches with everybody, as Gable unlucky in defeat. Moving on then, we had the Lucha Underground Gift of the Gods Championship matchup. It was a decent matchup here as A-Kid defeated Flamita, Walter and QT Marshall. So I love these Lucha Underground matches, just put random people in and see if it works. In 11:34, A-Kid pinning Walter with an arm trap Hangman's neckbreaker. He wins the Gift of the Gods title. Walter head and shoulders above the rest here. You may be thinking that's a bit of a baffling booking decision. Walter was happy to put A-Kid over. There's your first fluke victory, maybe get another couple down the line, and obviously then we can build Walter back up after that. So 72, it gets a bigger push for A-Kid getting it on an event, and yeah, just good of Walter to put that promise in there. You'll see the next couple, well, a lot will be on Dynamite, but there will be a few issues for the Danielson Fight Dojo's members, so we'll see what occurs with them, because a few have got promises out there. I then had a backstage segment where Bryan Danielson bumps into Gable, just speaks him over, tries to convince him to join the Fight Dojo. He thinks about it, and we carry on with a 69 rated segment. We then had the matchup for the TNT Championship. It was about to have great heat and good wrestling, as Keith Lee defeated Prince Devitt in 15-13 with a Spirit Bomb, Keith making the 5th defence of the TNT title. 80 here, of course, what do we usually do when we need an issue? Future heel turn for Prince Devitt was hinted here, but a good win for Keith Lee, as of course we need to build that turn up as this match happened between two babyfaces. And what I like is, we can get a good rating between them, and it's only a small segment penalty, because it is like loosely enforced here in All Elite Wrestling. After the matchup, it's been a great matchup, and Devitt shakes the hand of Keith Lee as a mark of respect. 77. We then had the match for the Women's World title, and it was a superb matchup. Debbie Bennett picking up the win over Becky Quinn in 17-19 with the Riptide, giving her a 7th title defence. 78, bit disappointed that was only a 78 with Becky getting an 80 and an 85 for Demi. Maybe should have made under 15 minutes. Becky's inconsistency the only penalty there, but a bit disappointed, but as I say, it just makes her champion look stronger and stronger. Backstage, Prince Devitt bumps into a former friend in the form of Bad Luck Fale, and he just says, "What the hell's happened to you, man? Remember, you know, this, you know how Prince acts, you know how Prince Devitt acts. This isn't the Prince Devitt I know. Prince Devitt I know was cocky, was arrogant, was ruthless, not going about shaking hands and going, oh well, I lost, it's cool. What the hell, get your act together." And that's a 58 segment between Devitt and his old friend Bad Luck Fale. We then had the Tag Team Championships on the line. It was about to have good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. Private Party defeat Claudio and Daniel Garcia in 13-12 when Isaiah Cassidy pinned Daniel Garcia, giving Private Party their 7th defence of the AEW World Tag titles. I love the fact that these two are now hitting 73 and 80 rated performances. They're really getting over by this title run. So happy to have finally invested in them with a good push, and they are delivering. A 79 though, still good performances from Garcia, who's developing, and Claudio, who's obviously in a bit of a physical decline, as we'll see here. He should be, oh, he's not actually in a physical decline. Well, Claudio, you might still get a good push. Yeah, this is also still a show, as they put on a bit of a good match. Then had a little promo after the matchup, the Acclaim going, yo, listen, but they just cut some rhymes, verbally beat down Private Party, as these two teams will be in a tag team championship matchup at Fight for the Fallen in a few weeks' time, and that was a 65 rated segment. Next matchup was for the Women's Tag Team Championships in a triple threat matchup. It was a good matchup that saw Jamie Hayter and Chris Statlander defeat Bayley Rose and Mercedes Varnado and Jade Cargill and Charlotte in 13:42 when Jamie Hayter pinned Bayley Rose with the curb stomp. So it gives us new champions in the form of Jamie Hayter and Chris Statlander. It gives us a 69 rating, which wasn't great, especially when you look at everyone's performances, especially what Charlotte and Jade Cargill will do. But the reality is, I wanted the belts on these two. It gives me a good program for them. They don't take the pinfall, so they're fine. And we had to keep Jade Cargill strong. She did not want to lose. I made it storytelling for that purpose as well. So it probably could have delivered at a much higher scale. I feel Chris needs the tag matches more, because she just needs matches in general, because her psychology is only at 59, so she's really good, she's over, but psychology's holding her back. So hopefully we can get that to develop over time. She did have Andrade saying she had poor psychology, we should cut the kid, but hopefully we can boost her on. And Jamie's got a gimmick that's getting stale. Chris has just turned hers. We can do the same with Jamie Hayter. But a great run from Jade and Charlotte. To give her props, Charlotte has absolutely elevated Jade Cargill probably to the main event level. So, well done. And after the matchup, 79, both celebrate. Fantastic. Crowd cheers to them. Chris is getting better at her gimmick, which is good to see. Is it main event time? No, it's co-main event time. Good matchup. Sammy Guevara defeats Wheeler Yuta in 14:05 with the 6:30. Sammy makes the second defence of the 0x Championship title. Just a good showcase match here for Yuta. Sammy's obviously way over, so he was never going to put Yuta over. But 78, 61, 84. I think that just helps the prestige grow of the 0x Championship, and that was a wild brawl matchup. We then have a little meeting backstage between Tez Ford, Swerve Strickland and Keith Lee. The Tez comes in, basically says, I think Strickland's the same as me, Swerve's the same as me, not quite really hitting a stride here in AEW at the moment, Keith. We respect the fact you are the TNT champion, but we feel like we just need to show how good of wrestlers we are together. So I feel these three as a trio could really help elevate each other, because you can have the great wrestling skills of Swerve, Keith Lee. Tez is pretty good, but Tez can bring the proper charisma here. It's how do I want to explain how this group is going to be? It's kind of like obviously it's three black wrestlers together, that was the plan here, but it's not a case of anything like like the Nation or anything like that. It's just them showing basically that black wrestlers are absolutely fantastic as well. That's the whole thing here. So it's like they're going to push that narrative. They're just going to showcase that together as an alliance they're as good as anybody, and just shows that they're a fantastic group. Also, that's a awkward subject to cover, being from Scotland, but I feel like, yeah, I'd like to see these three as an alliance and just prove, it doesn't matter colour of skin. If you are damn good, you can make it work, and they're going to unite to show that is the case. And that's the 66. Main event time. Kenny Omega makes his elaborate entrance for this matchup. I was going to make it Malachi, but I felt Kenny would get a better rating. Just a 78 though. Let's say it is going to be House of Black versus the Elite in the main event for the Trios Championships. Kenny came out of it looking excellent. Bear in mind that it's a floating belt with low prestige. That may hamper the matchup. If I can get close to an 80, I'll be quite content. Just under. Damn it. Anyway, Bout had some good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. The House of Black, Malachi Black, Brody King and Buddy Matthews defeat the Elite, Matt Jackson, Nick Jackson and Kenny Omega in 2004 when Malachi pinned Nick Jackson with the Black Mass. The House of Black win the Lucha Underground Trios Championships, to be of course rechristened, and Kenny Omega was head and shoulders above the rest. Kenny's going to be he's getting 97 performances, he's far too good to be in Trios matches, I'm afraid. He has to go back to the main event or thereabout it, so that's why we still had a high prestige matchup in the main event. We thought Kenny could maybe carry it into the 80s, but House of Black will have it. And yeah, Kenny Omega's looking very stale. How can we freshen up the best bout machine? and Nick Jackson's helped his psychology with my neurodivergent Stiefvachten. Overall, 88. If you wonder why that is the case, that Adam Cole match will help at the start to give it a little boost. Obviously, we always put all the boosts in now. The company's getting nearly 400 million, so it's not an option. I can basically try and just spam it all to get my goal to get the 100 rated shows. I need to get 100 rated matches, so it's still going to be that bit of a challenge. I could go back and do an older database, not one of those inflated ones, but the reality is, I want to do it with the present day rosters, and I want to try and do it with people coming through the ranks as well. Of course, Kenny's going to be declining at one point, but overall, nothing really actually stood out. The main event probably could have been Cole and Pac, but I feel happy with it. I feel like it's an event that we've changed a few championships. I think there's been a lot more kind of character changes here in terms of where people are going to go. It's going to help balance out our roster going forward. And I'll save these the boredom of going back to the main screen. As I say, we'll call it there, but thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully you'll join us next week for Fight for the Fallen. I also get those two mixed up, where at the moment we are looking to confirm it's going to be Pac versus Darby Allin, and at the moment the Acclaim versus Private Party. But we'll have plenty of championship matches, plenty of main event talent, and hopefully over the course of the next few shows we'll see the returns of CM Punk and Miro. So cheers for watching, take it easy, see you soon, bye bye.